If I had $1 million, I'd finally be able to buy a home and maybe do a bit of traveling. While this video won't make you a millionaire, it will get you wondering what if, as we talk about si clauses in Spanish, otherwise known as if clauses. By the end of this video, you'll have a thorough understanding of si clauses. To tackle this subject, we only need to answer 2 simple questions. What are si clauses? And 2, how are si clauses formed? Then we'll look at 5 different ways in which we can use Spanish si clauses. Now, enough with the what ifs. Let's get to the lesson. Number 1, what are si clauses? Si clauses are used to express hypothetical situations, similar to how we use if in English. They are a great asset to add to your Spanish-speaking skill set as they allow you to create conditional sentences, whether you're making plans with your friends in Spanish or something more formal such as negotiating something. If you haven't checked out our video on the Spanish subjunctive, I recommend doing so, as it covers how to convey possibility in Spanish, a concept we'll be using today. Si clauses are very similar to if clauses in English and are used to express a range of hypothetical situations. Let's look at some examples of si clauses in action. Si haces tu tarea, puedes irte. If you do your homework, you can leave. Si no estás ocupado mañana, puedes ayudarme. If you are not busy tomorrow, can you help me? And si comes mucho wasabi, te puedes enfermar. If you eat a lot of wasabi, you can get sick. As you can see, si clauses express hypothetical situations such as a possibility, probability, wishes, suggestions, and requests. Now, here's a quick tip. In Spanish, si clauses relate to the present, past, or future tenses in both the indicative and subjunctive mood. Remember, if you want to learn how to speak Spanish, make sure to check out baseling.com, where you can get access to unlimited one-on-one Spanish classes with native-speaking teachers all via Zoom. Now that we have an idea of what si clauses are, it's time to move on to our second question. Number 2, how are si clauses formed? Each sentence that contains a si clause is made up of 2 parts: the condition that may be fulfilled and the result or consequence if the condition expressed by the si clause occurs. For example, si estuvieras aquí, te visitaría. If you were here, I would visit you. The first part, the condition, is si estuvieras aquí. And the second part, the result, is te visitaría. And that makes si estuvieras aquí, te visitaría. The 2 parts can also work in reverse order. For example, no vayas a la escuela si estás enfermo. Don't go to school if you are sick. This time, we start with the result, no vayas a la escuela, and the condition, si estás enfermo, if you are sick, which forms our si clause, no vayas a la escuela si estás enfermo. So with si clauses, you form conditional sentences by combining 2 parts, the condition and the result, in order to express what will happen or not according to the condition that has been set. Here's another quick tip. Si clauses can be both affirmative or negative, using si or si no. All you have to do is use si for affirmative and si no for negative. We're about to look at the 5 different ways we can use Spanish si clauses. But before we do, here's a hypothetical for you. What if you hit the subscribe button? You would definitely improve your Spanish. Now we come to the 5 different ways in which we can use Spanish si clauses. They are way 1, in the present tense. Way 2, in the combined present and future tense. Way 3, in the present tense with an imperative result. Way 4, formed with subjunctive mood. And finally, way 5, with pluperfect subjunctive. We'll explain what they are, the formula you use, and give you an example for each one. Way 1, clauses in the present tense. When both parts of the sentence are in the present tense, they indicate that the result will be executed immediately when acting. The formula for si clauses in the present tense is si plus present verb plus result in present. For example, si tengo hambre, yo como. If I'm hungry, I'll eat. See how the formula is followed so far? Another example is, si me enfermo, voy al doctor. If I get sick, I'll go to the doctor. Way 2, combined present and future tense. When using this type, it means that for an action in the future to take place, it will depend on whether an action in the present is concluded. For example, si dejas tu maleta lista, tendrás más tiempo antes de ir al aeropuerto. If you leave your suitcase ready, you will have more time before going to the airport. The formula here is si plus present verb plus complement plus result in future tense. Essentially, we use this to describe something that might happen in the future if something else is or isn't done. Another example is, si no cuidas tu celular, lo perderás. If you don't take care of your cell phone, you will lose it. Way 3, see clauses in the present with an imperative result. An imperative is a command or instruction, and these clauses have an imperative as their result. For example, si quieres renunciar, hazlo. If you want to quit, do it. In this example, hazlo, do it, is the imperative. When we use this clause, the formula is si plus present verb plus result in imperative. For example, si tienes sueño, duerme. If you are sleepy, go to sleep. Way number 4, see clauses with subjunctive mood and conditional. This is used when we want to talk about something which happened in the past that would cause an action in the future to be affected. For example, si hubieras arrojado dinero, tendrías suficiente para irte de vacaciones. If you had saved money, you would have enough to go on vacation. The formula for this one is si plus verb in past imperfect subjunctive plus simple conditional. See if you can spot it here. Si el jefe fuera más amable, los empleados no renunciarían. If the boss were friendlier, the employees would not resign. For more on the conditional, we've got a whole video covering it, so check it out right up here. Way 5, see clauses with pluperfect subjunctive and the conditional. The last type of see clause is for situations contrary to past facts. The result clauses show a hypothetical possibility that could have happened had the condition been met in the past. For example, si no hubiera estado cansado, habría ido a cenar con ustedes. If I hadn't been tired, I would have gone to dinner with you. These clauses follow the formula of si plus pluperfect subjunctive plus conditional compound. Here's another example, and see if you can spot the formula. Si hubiera tenido más dinero, me habría quedado otro mes en Colombia. If I had more money, I would have stayed another month in Colombia. So there you have it. We have looked at what see clauses are, how they are formed, and the 5 different ways we can use them. For a full write-up of everything we covered here, plus additional examples, check out the article that accompanies this video, linked down below. Remember, if you want to learn how to speak Spanish, why not schedule your first class with a Baseling teacher today? At baseling.com, you get access to unlimited one-on-one Spanish classes with native-speaking teachers, all via Zoom. Try your first week for only $1. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you want more great Spanish lessons, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you want to learn more, why not check out our video on hobbies, where you can learn how to talk about your favorite hobbies and pastimes. See you soon in the next lesson. Adios, amigos.